Hey, it's Zane, welcome back. Hope you're having an awesome day today. In this video, I want to share with you 5 key reasons why most people will never own any Bitcoin. Most people will never own any Bitcoin, and what a shame that's going to be, particularly if it's people you care about and love. And we all know what it's like to have people in our realm who we know could benefit from learning about Bitcoin, saving in Bitcoin for a brighter future. And you know, it's a tough deal because we just want to, brighten the future of not just ourselves and our immediate family, but those around us as well. And even wealthy people, even people who are very financially have done well for themselves in this legacy system, they too, I believe, are going to realize in the not too distant future that ignoring Bitcoin was a big mistake. If not for the wealth creation potential of Bitcoin, they're going to realize that for the wealth protection side of Bitcoin, they should have been paying really close attention. So we don't want to be amongst the group of people who will never own any Bitcoin, because if you're not owning Bitcoin, there's going to come a time where the only way to get Bitcoin is going to be to actually earn it, to participate in the global free market circular economy, spend and replace. And this is where we're going to transition to, I believe, over the next few years. You can already see all of the infrastructure being built that is going to enable Bitcoin to transition from this narrative, this phase that we're in right now, which is very much store of value. We're going to transition into the next property of money, which is medium of exchange. And so this is what's coming. And like I said, people who don't participate in this store of value era, the only way they're going to be able to access Bitcoin in the future is by earning it through exchanging their time and energy and resources for Satoshis, for Bitcoin. And this is what I believe, and many others believe, is the next phase of Bitcoin. But you want to get in now. You want to be a part of this great wealth transfer, this great wealth shift. You know, we know the biggest pools of capital on earth are right there at the door, telegraphing what they're going to do. We have to remember that Bitcoin is a completely fixed and finite asset. There is only 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be any more. You don't have to own a whole Bitcoin. You can own fractions of a Bitcoin. You can own what's known as Satoshis, 1 million Satoshis, 50 million Satoshis, 70 million Satoshis, whatever it is. There's 100 million Satoshis per Bitcoin. You can put $500, $1,000, $10,000 into Bitcoin. You do not have to buy one whole Bitcoin. And this is why I keep saying to people, just start low and grow. Start low and grow. Just build your confidence, learn the process, get really knowledgeable and educated about what Bitcoin is and the problems that it solves. Take it into self-custody, build your confidence, and then go to the next stage, next level. And that's really the way forward. But the worst thing that people can do is to just sit on the sidelines and take no action around this at all. But I'm going to rip through these 5 key points here. Before I do that, a very quick announcement. A number of people have been asking me when I'm going to be rehosting my Zoom live stream events, my free webinars. I'm going to be doing it next week. Okay, so I've got 2 sessions coming up. If you'd like to join me, just type Zoom in the comments below, and I'll share the information page with you where you can register. Again, free event. You must register to join and access the session. But here are the 2 options for you. Tuesday night, 14th of October, 6:30 p.m. Now this is Brisbane, Australia time. Okay, Brisbane, Australia time. Tuesday the 14th of October, 6:30 p.m. Or if you can't make that session, Friday morning, 10 a.m. Brisbane time. Friday morning, 10 a.m. 17th of October. So if you'd like to join me for either of those sessions, just type Zoom in the comments and I'll share the link with you. You must register to join and access the event. And I hope to see you there. All right. I'm going to rip through these 5 points. Number 1, the reason why most people will never own any Bitcoin is because they do not understand fiat currency. They do not understand that we live in a system of broken money. Fiat currency is a currency that is backed by nothing. The only thing that it's backed by is faith and trust. Trust in the government, trust in the central bank. But unfortunately, trust has been broken. And it's been broken gradually over many, many years, and now it's happening suddenly. And we need to go back to probably the big crossroads moment in all of this, and that was 1971, in August 1971, when President Nixon broke or severed the gold standard, which was in place since the end of World War II. And so America had the reserve currency. Currencies around the world were inadvertently backed by gold. But in August 1971, President Nixon issued this executive order. And at that time, or from that time, we've had what's known as fiat floating currencies that have been backed by nothing, including the Australian dollar. And what this means is that over the course of time, there's been no checks and balances required when it comes to the issuance of currency. And so it means that our savings over time, the purchasing power has been eroded, has been diluted constantly. And we're at the point now, we're at the end of the life cycle of this fiat currency system, which is why people now know that saving is virtually a waste of time. They will never ever get ahead by saving. People cannot save their way to prosperity any longer. Young people have no chance of saving for a house deposit, because by the time, the number of years it takes for them to save, say $100,000, right, after tax, to go and buy a house, by that stage the price of the house has gone up 2 or 3 times, and so they're constantly being left behind. And of course now they're bringing in 5% mortgages and all of that, so that or deposit mortgages, so that kids are going to have a noose around their neck, not just for 30 years, but probably for 50. So anyway, we don't want to talk about that today, but other than to say that we live in a system of broken money. This is why back in the day, a family could function on one income. Back in the 50s and 60s, Dad could go to work, he could be the main breadwinner, Mum could stay home, raise the kids, keep the house. Back then, house prices were 2 to 3 times the average annual wage. That was the median house price. So families could build a future for themselves, a prosperous life for themselves, whereas now it's impossible, because for most people, you need not just mum and dad working, but potentially one of the kids as well, and the kids are not leaving home until they're in their 20s and maybe even their 30s, because they've got to save for a deposit to get on with their life as well, and they know that if they're out paying rent, they've got no chance. All of this is a function of broken money. People know there are problems, they just don't know there's a solution. And this is why most people will never own any Bitcoin, because they're not prepared to take the time to understand the system that they're a part of. They're not prepared to take the time to go and spend 10 hours learning about something that could change the trajectory of their life, and yet they'll get up every single day and they'll go to work for this broken form of money without even thinking why they're doing it, without even thinking how this system has been created, without even questioning the path that they're on. And instead, they're exhausted, they're stressed, they're anxious, they're uncertain, and none of this is going to change until they wake up and realize the system they're a part of and the fact that there's a solution. Number 2, Bitcoin is a paradigm shift. This is the second reason why most people will never own any Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the opposite of everything that we've been told about money. We are led to believe that our house price is meant to go up forever. When priced in dollars, absolutely. When priced in Bitcoin, it's a complete lie. The reason for that is because Bitcoin is the hardest form of money humanity has ever seen. Now, what that means is that when you start pricing houses, anything for that matter, but let's just pick on houses for a moment because it's an easy target for Australians. If you price your house in Bitcoin, you see the truth. Bitcoin is hard money. It's not inflationary money. It's not money that's being printed out of thin air. It's hard money that cannot be printed by anybody. It's hard money that has an audit globally every 10 minutes to maintain its integrity and authenticity. When you price real estate in Bitcoin, what do you see? House prices are falling, not gradually, rapidly. Done this for myself. Okay, so, and the thing you realize is that this isn't just like sort of some crazy, stroke of misfortune that you have to come to terms with. It's just the reality of when you start pricing goods and services and assets in forms of money that are sound, which is what a global free market should be built on. Sound money, not corrupted money, not infinite money. A global free market, which is what we've been told that we're in, but we're not in, because it's being denominated in infinite currency. So the two don't function together. And this is why people who are in Bitcoin, who understand Bitcoin at a deep level, what they start to do is price their life, not in dollars, but in Bitcoin. And what they see is that the cost of everything around them is going down, not up. Their quality of life is going up, not down. Paradigm shift. That is a complete paradigm shift. And most people do not have the bandwidth because they're so busy just trying to make ends meet to stop and pause and learn about why Bitcoin is the solution, is the revolution, is the opt-out. Number 3, it feels too hard to learn about Bitcoin. It feels too hard and people get nervous when it comes to hitting the buy button. What if the price drops? So they don't buy. They'll just sit on the sidelines forever, and then they get 2 years, 5 years down the track and they go, you know what, I really should have just leaned in and just went for it. But they don't, because they double guess themselves. And the reason they double guess themselves is because they haven't done the work on Bitcoin to start with. They don't understand the problems that it solves. So it feels too hard to learn or to buy Bitcoin. We need to learn about setting an account up with an exchange or a full service brokerage, which is what I recommend, particularly in the environment that we're in right now where there's a lot of friction with banks. Please don't use an exchange if you can avoid it. Set yourself up with a full service brokerage and do it with the assistance of a real person, not a chat box. There's a lot of friction with banks right now, and so in order to minimize that, you need to be working with a full service brokerage, in my view. And I've referred people all the time to full service brokerages because people come to me and they've experienced this friction firsthand for themselves, and we do it a different way and they don't have that problem anymore. Okay, banks are nervous about what's coming. They do not want people putting their money into Bitcoin because they know once it leaves the banking system, it's not coming back. Okay, it's really important to understand that. Bitcoin is not hard, it's just new. It's just new. And if it's important to you, you'll learn about it. It's not hard, it's just new. And if you've got somebody to help you through it with some simple steps, a bit of guidance, which is why I do my one-on-one coaching calls every single week. You can book a session with me if you'd like to have a one-on-one Zoom call with me. I share my screen, I share resources with you based on what you tell me, what you need, where you're at, and I can help you on your way. But none of it's hard, it's just new. And we are entering a phase now where those who are doing the work on Bitcoin now are going to be setting themselves up for a future that is so much brighter than most people, because they're going to have options that most people are simply not going to have, because they're going to have their wealth in a completely decentralized format with no permission required. You won't need to contact your bank. You won't need to run the risk of your bank saying to you that they have restrictions on withdrawals today or this month. You won't have to worry about any of that. You will just have access to your money as you see fit, globally, peer-to-peer, without any permission required or no counterparty attached to your money or your wealth for that matter. So the cost of staying ignorant to this cannot be understated. The cost of staying ignorant and ignoring Bitcoin is massive in my view. Point number 4, people want comfort and quick fixes. We are in a world now where people are addicted to instant gratification. Some of it is their fault, some of it is society's fault. We've transitioned into very much a subscription-based society now. People, for the most part, don't own anything anymore. They rent everything from their entertainment to their houses, to their cars, you name it. Everything is on a rent-based system. And this, again, is a function of broken money. Okay, so it's really important that you think differently if you're caught in this cycle of needing to have things now. You need to lower your time preference. You need to go back to the day where if you wanted something, you could actually see it out there, plan for it, set it as a goal, set it as a target, and start working towards that. Remember when you were a kid, when you could go and lay by a new cricket bat or a new pair of shoes. You couldn't afford to have it right now. You didn't quite have enough pocket money, so what did you do? You'd go to the shop, you'd put it on lay-by, and you'd pay it off over the course of weeks or months, and then once you got there and you'd paid it off, you went and collected that item. What a concept. But of course now, what do? Let's just pay for it now, pay 20% interest for the privilege, and we'll worry about how we're going to pay for it later. So, Bitcoin takes you back to a place where you can now plan for the future. You can now be at peace. No stress, no anxiety around the fact that you need to do now, buy now, gamble now, buy a lotto ticket now. I'm running out of time. Life's getting harder. I need a big win. I need something. I need to buy a cryptocurrency that's going to 100 or 1,000x. Bitcoin's too slow. It's only going to 5 or 10x my money in the next 5 years. I mean, this kind of mindset is what hurts most people. So we need to get out of that mindset. And when you understand Bitcoin, this is exactly what happens. You get out of that mindset and you start building something tangible and significant again for your future. You start being future focused once again, and you need to do that, particularly if you care about having a really good quality of life in retirement. And this is why I keep saying, if you haven't paid attention to your superannuation account in recent times, you really need to do that, because if your superannuation is only performing at 8, 9, 10%, unfortunately there's a massive opportunity cost associated with that when you consider what you could be doing in an asset that is performing or outperforming superannuation, not just by a little bit, but by orders of magnitude, by multiples. And this is why many people are now rolling over their underperforming industry super fund into an SMSF. Why? So that they can acquire and take self-custody of the best performing asset on earth, which of course is Bitcoin. So I can also talk to you about that on a one-on-one call if you'd like to do that. The fifth and final point today is most people won't act until it's too late. Most people will not change anything in their life until it hits them in the face, until it dramatically impacts their everyday life, until they go to the bank and they can't access their money. This is the time where people are going to wake up. This is the time where people are going to realize that I could have, should have, would have. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Please don't be in that boat. Don't be one of the people that the only way they're going to be able to access Bitcoin or stack Satoshis is to actually earn it. We are at a privileged position right now. The future for Bitcoin has never been clearer. It has never been clearer. Bitcoin is not going to fail. The future for Bitcoin is exciting. It's bright. But right now you can actually buy it. That is a privilege that for most people, for most of the population, they're not going to be able to participate in that because there's simply not going to be any Bitcoin for sale. And so they're going to have to earn it. They're going to have to exchange their resources, their time and energy for Satoshis which is still going to be good, but it's not going to be half as good as being able to actually stack sats now, to buy Bitcoin now and to put it into cold storage and to move towards a brighter future and to gear up to participate in the peer-to-peer global free market circular economy which is ahead of us. So I'm going to leave it there today. I hope you got some insight why most people will never own any Bitcoin. A heap of points there I just shared with you. Again, if you'd like to join me next week on my Zoom live stream, my live webinar, 90-minute session, I'd love to see you there. Just type Zoom in the comments. I'll share the link with you to the information page where you can register on Zoom to join me. You must register to join. I'd love to see you there. Other than that, have a wonderful day. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you really soon. Bye for now.